What's up guys, and welcome back to the Real Banksy for another video. If you didn't see the last one, it was 6 laps around the Nürburgring Endurance with dynamic weather, an absolutely brilliant race. Now this week we've got a slightly more boring race, 15 laps around Watkins Glen, and compared to last week, no real strategy. The tyres die a bit towards the end, but that you don't need to change them. There's one required pit stop. And that's it really, but it still provided an incredible race. Starting here in P3 with a pretty good lap time, and let's see what happens going down into turn 1. It's a pretty long straight into turn 1. Can we get a move into turn 1? Let's see. No, not quite. We go for it, but don't fully commit, and it'll just give us a slightly poorer run down the back straight. Now coming into the bus stop chicane here, the leader going very wide and coming back onto the track, and we are able to come up the inside, a little bit of contact, but we get the move done eventually and move up into P2. Now we've got somebody called Blake Smith up ahead, and we try to go down the inside into the bus stop chicane. Normally if you go down the inside you'll get the move, and here we did exactly that and moved up. Now this is the other driver who was in contention for a race win here, starting in last place and seemingly doing a last to first challenge. And at the back of the pack it's always a bit of chaos. In one corner it goes from 15th up to 10th, and while that is because the driver's pitting, that means much less traffic to him. And my real race was against him because he had a lot of pace and was doing a last to first challenge really, so you know when they're doing that, they're pretty quick. Now up to P10, catching up to the large group of cars up ahead, and yeah, it was a worry for me. I didn't really realise how quick he was up until he was setting lots of fastest laps and stuff, but it provided me with a really good race and I enjoyed it a lot. But for now he's down in P10. Can he get an overtake here? Coming into this very, very long corner. Somebody's off on the left, I don't know if you saw, but he's up into P9. And then there's a large gaggle of cars here, one of which is a penalty, so he's up into P8. Can he get an overtake into the final couple of corners of the lap? Maybe. It's always chaos, it's a lot of chaos. He makes 2 overtakes into the final corner now, and there's carnage, absolute carnage. He gets a bump from behind, there's lots of contact, and he eventually gets the move done. Now up into P6, and he's really proving how much chaos there can be at the back, struggling to get through and having lots of damage. Now here he had to serve a penalty, and that moved him back down to P7 and eventually P8. And that just got rid of a lot of his hard work. Now a couple more guys coming into the pits here, and he was up into P6 again. So he was making pretty quick moves. Can he get up into P5 around this very long sweeping corner? Yes he can, and P4 just ahead. Now back to my race on lap 5 of 15 here, and my race was going pretty well so far, but we get contact from behind. We're forced wide, there's more contact. Can we come back up the inside here? We deserve the position, we get a penalty, which I feel is really annoying because we did not really deserve it. And now coming down this long straight into turn 1, we go defensive, but I realise he's too far back to make a move surely. I cover the inside and he comes off the track, makes the move and forces me very, very wide. Luckily for me though, he has a 1 second penalty, 1.5 second penalty even. And that means we are able to stay ahead of him as we serve our half-second penalty, now up to 2 seconds for him. And that ended up working out quite well for me in the end, to be honest, because we move up and well ahead of him. And now the gap behind is much longer, and we seem to be in control of the race. Even with that half-second penalty, we seem to be doing just fine. Now Blake Smith behind there, I don't know if you noticed, but he spun out And meanwhile, this was the lap before my rival moving up into P4, and this was where Blake Smith spun out there, and he moves up into P3 now, into the podium positions, and now on the back of P2. Can he get the move done with the penalty? Yes, he can. And now there are no cars between me and him. You can see me going around that penultimate corner there. And here he is setting fastest laps all the time. 1:14.3 there, much quicker than any of my laps. And I'm just starting to feel the pressure from him because he is gaining about half a second a lap here. As I come round the final corner, he goes into the pits. And that would prove to be quite important, because now I have to go in the pits the next lap to cover him off, and hopefully I should still be ahead of him on the pit exit on lap 12. We'll have a look here now though, because I obviously have to cover him off, come into the pits, and he was fed out there in P6 eventually. So a little bit of traffic up ahead for him, but he seems to be fine in some clean air. Now I will pit the next lap, lap 12, and we'll see where I come out. Will it be ahead of him, or will he come out just ahead of me? And for now I am still ahead of him as we come towards the end of this race, but he is gaining pretty quickly on me here, and he makes a pretty easy overtake up the inside into these fast uphill S's. And now there's back to being one car between us, and that was lap 13. This is lap 14, and as you can see, he is right on the back of me. This is the penultimate lap, and he has a look here. Can he go round the outside? No, he can't. And here, this is where I made the big mistake, going just a tiny bit too wide, and that will give me a half a second penalty, which is going to really ruin my race. Now then, onto the main straight. I have to stay ahead of him here and try force him into a situation where he loses a little bit of time. The leader there comes into the pits, but that's not important right now. Can we go up the inside into turn 1? Yes, but we go too deep, way too deep, and he cuts back down the inside, the old switcheroo there. And now we are surely out of contention for the race win. We try to fight back, but with the half second penalty, it's just too much. And as we serve the half second penalty with 2 corners to go, the gap's up to well over a second. And eventually, we come home across the line to finish in P2 after a brilliant race. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.